Huge gains are coming, and these 5 altcoins, I believe, will explode because we've had some incredible news recently. And if you can see here, Ethereum breaks through this very important price of $3,900. I think from there, we go to the all-time high price of around $4,900 quite quickly. And as I said, these 5 altcoins particularly, I think will benefit because they've had some incredible news. Now, we are banging on alt season's door, not just because Ethereum, of course, is around this very important line, which it's failed to break through 1, 2, 3, 4, now 5 times, but because Bitcoin's dominance is also sitting now back on this blue line. This blue line here is the 1-year moving average. Very important. It's a very, very crucial line to crack because you can see here, we haven't cracked it so far in this bull run, which I believe will be the start of alt season. Obviously, ETH will push up first. So what we're looking at here is ETH to break through this. This will help pull down Bitcoin's dominance, and that I think will make way for alts to soon follow. In terms of where we are in the ETH to gold chart, this is a very important chart because this gives us a good indication of the cycles. We also have really good signs we're looking at here. You can see back in the previous cycle, essentially, we kind of came up from the bear market lows, double touch here. We consolidated here. You guys actually probably can't quite see that, but you can on the daily time frame here. We also pumped, consolidated here in orange, and then we came up to this trend line here, and we again consolidated before breaking out to the upside. It wasn't too far after that where we, of course, broke through this point here, and then went into full-blown alt season. And yet again, just like clockwork, we kind of have followed the same patterns. You can see here we kind of trended in red, then we've been trending over here in orange. I suspect we might find some resistance in yellow, but this may possibly come as we see ETH USD break up to the all-time high, as we see Bitcoin's dominance begin to soon fall. Now, this is a little bit premature to say for sure, but it obviously looks quite good at the moment. If we also have a look at Ethereum versus Bitcoin's chart over here, as you can see, after we reclaimed these range lows down here, of course, ETH had a great reaction. On the RSI, you can see here we had this cross where the white line went above the yellow line over here. The same thing happened over in June, and we're also very, very close. We've gotten even closer now to having the blue line cross above the orange line on the MACD. You can see here we're very, very much oversold on both of these charts. Now we're looking to push up into more bullish momentum. And as this will happen, we're basically going to see Ethereum just kind of dominate alts for a little bit longer. This chart here goes to show that. And I do suspect we continue to fall a little bit here while ETH breaks through all-time highs, while we do see Bitcoin dominance fall, because this is what happened in the previous cycle. So this is back here in November of 2020, all the way through to the 7th of January 2021. So ETH kind of took the charge. ETH had phase 2 play out on the path to alt season chart, and then it was down at these lows. We saw Bitcoin dominance topping, ETH at all-time highs, and then alts, okay, so others actually had their all-time high, all right? So they started breaking through, and then we pushed back into this channel here, which means alts had their alt season. All I'm getting at is cycles are playing out very similar. Things are playing out very similar. It's all looking and rhyming similar. However, there is also some bullish news. Like I said, I think the coins that are showing the strength right now, literally right now, are the ones that you want to be eyeing off here for a very explosive immediate reaction if we do see alt season take off here in the next few weeks based on those charts. Okay, anything can happen. Sure, it might not play out just now, but I do think it is inevitable. Plus, we also have about a 92% odds of the Fed cutting rates by 25 basis points in September. This could be the start of something very, very good. So brace yourselves. I think we are knocking on alt season's door right now. And so the first coin I want to talk about, I think, is one of the ones that have had so much success over the last few weeks here, more than any other coin in my personal opinion, and that is Chainlink. They have had an update that I'll talk about now in a moment that I think is on par, at least for Chainlink, to them working with MasterCard to bring on all 3.5 billion MasterCard users to crypto. But first of all, guys, I can't not tell you this. We're finally launching level 0. So when you're watching this video, there will be a enter level 0 button finally available. So you guys can get a whole bunch of awesome things like trades, trade setups, macro analysis, free indicators as well, portfolio tracker sheet, and a whole bunch of awesome stuff. Because part of that level 0, which you can again get for free, Steph gave this awesome trade on Chainlink 2 days ago, and you can see he detailed this quite extensively. And he called it, right? He's got 430% gains here. I followed his call. I'm not a trader. I just follow the calls from our pro traders in the group, right? So I made 220%. These are 3 of our members as well. Okay, we had 3 members post some great returns as well. So look, we're at the point in the cycle right now where you need to be maximizing gains because the market's about to be up only for a pretty long time here. So by investing, that's great. But if you have the time, if you have the patience and the interest, get yourself involved with Level Zero. Again, join up for free, learn how to trade yourself, and just make more money overall. So I'll leave the links to that, of course, down below. But if we get onto the Chainlink news here, again, it's some pretty big stuff. Now, at least for Chainlink, not the whole market, okay? And that is the fact that Chainlink has now launched Chainlink Reserve. Now, this seems boring to most people. I totally get it, right? But what this essentially does is it actually provides real token appreciation for all of the interest Chainlink gets on-chain and off-chain. So to break this down a little bit more here, this process Chainlink has launched, okay, the network value flow, essentially any of the traction that Chainlink's services and products get, whether it's through off-chain revenue, like working with Visa or working with MasterCard, bringing on any of the 3.5 billion MasterCard users into crypto, all of that revenue to the sum of hundreds of millions of dollars is going to be used to purchase Chainlink tokens up, okay? And it's all done through a decentralized exchange, just like it is on-chain as well. So this is things like CCIP, this is things like the Oracle network, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And to cut a long story short, what I'm saying here, any of the fees generated by these products will be directly going into Chainlink to then be swapped, okay, via a DEX into the Chainlink token, which is then stored in the Chainlink Reserve on-chain, which they cannot access, like sell, for at least a few more years, well after this bull run. So essentially, why this is so good and why it's so much better than any other crypto project's use case and utility is because other use case and utility fails to do one important thing, actually take tokens out of the supply on the open market. So what's happening here is essentially we are having Chainlink being bought up by USDC, Bitcoin, ETH, whatever it may be, and taken out of supply. This actually adds pure price impact to the coin, unlike any other use cases where you might have token used for fees and all that sort of basic stuff. That's not going to pump the price of your coins up. This does because it buys it on the open market. So this is some really big stuff. As a matter of fact, in the last 24 hours, they've gained an extra $200,000 worth of this reserve. So it's, adding a link to this very quickly. And as their products begin to expand, like you can see here with the MasterCard thing, and like a whole bunch of their other products as well, right? It's a lot of products they offer. It's only going to increase and actually add true real buyer pressure to the coin. I almost FOMO'd in on this news. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I literally almost FOMO'd into this coin. I had to just say, no, calm down, stop. You can see here they also recently launched data streams as well. What is data streams? Data streams are essentially the ways that they can power real-world assets on-chain. It's essentially price feeds for specifically RWA markets. Yeah, just big stuff all around for Chainlink. Now, Ondo is the next coin, but it's the smallest news of the bunch, but I must say it's still some pretty big stuff, right? So Ondo here at $1. What's the news? Well, they've officially been traded now or available to trade on Robinhood. This is some big stuff. We saw a Hedera H-bar list on Robinhood recently. It helped pump the price up quite a bit. Obviously, the market up until this point, like right now, wasn't in an amazing state, but we've come back up again quite nicely here. So I do believe once we see ETH break all-time highs, we're going to see, Ondo hopefully react to this news as well. You can see here back in 2024, Robinhood as a broker had about 25 million users. Okay, and so obviously that's going to likely grow. So it's a lot of traction we could possibly see here for Ondo, especially as they spin up Ondo Global Markets and the Ondo chain. The next coin here is Sai, one of the newest layer ones on the block. One I recently did a massive purchase of myself because the numbers don't lie. The reason these guys are on today's list is because they've now integrated with MetaMask. This is big. People in crypto, again, beginners especially, I think underplay the partnerships with these very popular wallets. And the reason why is because these wallets are how you buy these coins, guys. Okay, a lot of people love the decentralized nature, so they only buy on these decentralized wallets like MetaMask. So you instantly open yourself up to a whole bunch of users. It's kind of like launching on like a mega super centralized exchange, for example, like something 2 times the size of Binance. 100 million users is pretty insane. Now, why this is interesting, particularly for Sai, is because if you have a look at the chains here on DApp Radar in terms of sorting them by total UAW is unique active wallets, Sai ranks in number 3. Okay, which is, again, ranking it versus all other networks, including Ethereum. But the thing is, if you look at now the top EVM, Ethereum Virtual Machine Compatible Layer 1, Sai's number 1. So all of this demand that's come through Sai up until this point has been without MetaMask. Again, MetaMask is a naturally EVM-compatible wallet. So for those who are complete beginners, EVM is essentially the framework you can build smart contracts on Ethereum. And this is where most applications are built on. Okay, so incredible stuff here. Dominates the next closest. So again, what could possibly come? Well, a major spike here in total transactions. It's already climbing quite quickly. We're seeing an average transaction per day of around 2 million. Again, this is a very new network, guys, and a fraction of the size in market cap. You can see 1.8 compared to competitors like Solana being multiple tens of billions. Not to mention as well, you can see here one of their recent posts, they just introduced native USDC into their ecosystem. Now, again, another boring thing that people often overlook here is like when, these wallets or these stable coins get introduced into these networks. I don't think you should look away from it, guys. I think especially now with the adoption of stable coins in the US and all of these, institutions and governments flooding into this sort of thing now, you can't not have a native stable coin on your network. It will stunt your growth. So this has been kind of evident when we've seen here since they introduced this on Sai back down here around like late July, early August. We can see we went from a stablecoin market cap of 191 million. Now it is up to, what's this? Almost 100 million more, 270 million. This is like in 2 weeks, guys. Obviously, you can see thanks to that, it's helped pull up the TVL as well. More TVL, the bigger that number is, the more people are looking to come onto the network. It's one of the main metrics I look at to buy quality coins. The next coin here is Aerodrome Finance. It's the main decentralized exchange on Base, and if it does even anything like Uniswap or PancakeSwap on Ethereum or the Binance Smart Chain in the previous cycle, we're in for some pretty juicy returns, especially at a 770 million market cap. The degens out there are thinking to themselves, Kyron, give me something 10x smaller. Where's the 70 million market cap coin? Well, I'm sorry, my friend. That's a little bit too risky right now. I do think going into a coin like this has still huge upside potential, like its competitors in the previous, but also has a bit more safety. All right, the downside is much more minimal than what you'll find with the micro caps. That's just what I think, right? And so here's one of the main reasons why it's on this list and why I'm so excited about it. So Brian Armstrong, the CEO and co-founder of Coinbase, which is also the guys who created the base layer 2 on Ethereum, obviously, okay, confirmed that we are going to be rolling out here in the next few weeks the Aerodrome integration into the new base app, which means essentially one of the main ways that you buy small cap coins on this new base app that Coinbase is launching here very shortly is going to be via Aerodrome. It's like the main way you do it. It's the beneficiary of that. So what that means is a whole bunch of demand, right? Around 10 million monthly active users and possibly even hundreds of millions of new people in the crypto will be using this to buy coins and therefore going through Aerodrome strictly. Now, why I love this is because if you actually have a look at it, okay, Aerodrome is only on one chain right now, which is Base. If they decide to branch out into Ethereum, into other layer 2 networks, for example, even into other entire ecosystems like Sai, you're going to have this coin absolutely blow up very quickly. Why I love them as well is because they're genuinely crypto, all right? So they give all of the revenue back to the guys who support the project. If you are locking up your Aerodrome and you get this special token called VE Aero or Voted Escrow Aero, it's like governance token, right? When you have the governance for Aero, you get back all the money Aerodrome makes. It's incredible. You don't get that with Uniswap, so one of its main competitors. I think there is big upside here for a coin like this, especially again because of the growth we will soon see in the base ecosystem. And lastly is Keeta. This is a 500 million market cap coin. It's a like layer 1 payment network. It's very, very new. You can kind of think of it like an early stage XRP, but weirdly different. All right. So it's too much to go into in this video. I plan to make a full deep dive. The reason why they're on this list and the last coin on it is because they were mentioned recently in a Nielsen report, issue 1288, which was a couple reports ago. And there's good news because you can see them mentioned here. Now, not many coins, actually very rare, is it to find a cryptocurrency in this report. Now, Chainlink being Chainlink, the absolute monster it is pretty much always mentioned in these reports, because believe it or not, Chainlink's going to really revolutionize this world. Whether you love it or you hate it, it's just the facts. Now, what is the Nielsen report? The Nielsen report is a highly esteemed publication that goes through, I think, every month, some of the most important updates regarding payments, right? So payment networks, Visa, MasterCard, Deutsche Bank, HSBC, all these different guys. And essentially, it's like $2,500 a year to just get membership to this. So you only really have the big Fortune 500 companies really looking at this. And as you can see here, I asked GPT to explain this a little bit more because some of you guys don't believe me. So I'll let GPT do the talking, right? It is singled out and as a featured company in the Nielsen report, putting Keeta on the network of card and payment establishments. Okay, while the listing does not confirm a formal partnership of any kind, it strongly hints that Nielsen's editors see Keeta technology as relevant to the same big name firms as Visa, MasterCard, Circle, Chainlink, Google, and PayPal. Keep in mind, this is a project worth fractions of the size, 500 million market cap. So just hang in with me here. Published for 54 years, Nielsen is widely cited as the most respected source of news analysis of the global card and mobile payment industry. You guys can pause this at any point you like to read what GPT here says, but I'll go down here. Is it hard to get named? It's no pay to play. So since companies cannot buy a placement, editor vetting is the sole gatekeeper. You have to basically be a good company that actually has use case with other companies to get on this Nielsen report. So only a handful of layer ones like Solana in 2022 and Ripple in 2023 have appeared, usually after pilots with banks or processors. So as a layer one, like Keeta, you only have the big boys. Keeta's inclusion puts it on the same league as Ripple, as Solana. Now, I don't think I have to go into too much more detail about why that's bullish. Now, we shouldn't take GPT or AI's words as face value, but they're not wrong. This is a very big deal, especially as a very small project. You can see here recently as well, Ty, the founder of Keeta, actually said we're positioning ourselves where no one can stop us. Once we tap into these rails, it's kind of game over for the industry. These guys were invested by Eric Schmidt, the ex-CEO of Google as well. So these are my projects I'm eyeing off right now to take full advantage of the breaking down of Ethereum's biggest barrier here, which is right now $3,900. And again, when we see the floodgates break through here on the ETH to gold chart, which is this, and also Bitcoin's dominance. So thank you all for watching this video. Let me know what you think down below. Are you a fan of any one of these 5 coins? And if so, which one? I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.